time. And underneath the cabanas, it's just like underneath any other bay, or it's dark under there. It's a safe space. So if you go underwater and look underneath there, there's just fish. All the fish are hiding. And Jodie, something touched her leg, and it was like a piece of seagrass. It was a piece of seagrass, and she was like, "I'm getting out of the water." Hi, I'm Roland.
I'm Jodie. And neither one of us are pickled today.
Unfortunately.
Not even possibly.
So we talked about day 3, or port 3.
Port day 3.
Port day 3 was on CocoCay.
Or CocoCay. I don't know.
CocoCay.
I know. I've
2 words.
I've heard it 2 different ways. I've heard
CocoCay
it K
and Key.
Yes, I called it Key, and somebody was like, it's or K, and they're like, it's pronounced Key. I'm like, well, it says CAY, but then the captain was calling it CocoCay.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on how crazy we are.
Anyways, so we went to Perfect Day at CocoCay, and that was that's Royal Caribbean's one of their private islands.
I think they're only private island.
Well, they're only private island, but they do have other private areas like that. And like in Haiti and Levity.
Okay.
And then one in Mexico somewhere.
Oh, I didn't know that. Like Cozumel area?
Yeah, I think so. And then they're building another one currently on Nassau and Hog Island.
Okay.
Is it still called Hog Island? I don't know. It was called Hog Island for a long time.
Yeah. So
Hogs.
We had to wait a little bit of time because the seas were really rough where we were at, and the captain was making good decisions to not run us into the dock.
Yeah.
But there was already a larger boat.
Independence of the Sea.
The Independence of the Sea was already docked, or
they were docked.
And then it took us. We were supposed to dock at 9, but
or no, before then 7:30.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, off by 8. But we weren't able to get off till about 9:30, 10.
9:30, 10. Yeah,
something like that. We walked right off the boat. There were lots of people already fun dancing. As far as I'm concerned, it was like a Disney type event.
Yeah, it was very party atmosphere. Like come have fun.
And everything was taken care of. I mean, I didn't want for anything the whole time I was on the island. I was just hanging out with my sweetheart.
Yeah, so
taking pictures of her in a bathing suit.
So since we were here with family, we decided to get an Over the Water Cabana. Yeah. So they have different areas, and one of them is a beach club. So it's a paid beach club. Most of the island is free to do things, right? So you go to the beach, you get some food, you could do a lot of things, and it's free. It's included in your thing, in your cruise fare. But we went a little bit further, and I rented an over this water cabana, which is for up to 8 people.
Yeah.
So we had 6 of us, and
I would assume that they're not really counting smallish people.
I don't know. I mean, but then I heard that you can bring more because kids
$50 person.
$50 per person over your 8.
Yeah.
Up to, I don't know how many but they had a lot of small people in that cabana next to us.
I wouldn't put more than 8 people on it. But where we were in Cabana 10, over the water, was absolutely fabulous. It's the very best cabana that's available as far as I'm concerned. Because you're the furthest out in the water, and then on the beach side is the Coco Beach Club side. So there's not a lot of people coming out into the water. Now, if you go to the other direction, like Beach. Cabin 1 or Cabana 1 and 2, you get
that other beach, and it was actually quite close to shore.
It was very close to shore,
as far as I was concerned. But we picked 10, and we were able, our concierge, because we're in a suite here, so we had a concierge, and she was able to get us the cabana we wanted.
Yeah.
And
it was fabulous.
It was fabulous. We had and now when you're talking about over Water Cabanas. Just like a lot of things, their prices are what do you call it? Variable. You have variable pricing. And
as
so
people don't rent them, the prices start to go down.
Right. And then sometimes they have sales, and sometimes the prices go down below the sale price. And what the thing with when you reserve through like the Royal Caribbean app, you can cancel your reservation and buy a new reservation for that.
Yeah.
So I was able. So like I think the base price it started off at like $3,000, and I just so happened to get it for $1,200. So we paid $200 per person for Over the Water Cabana. That included all the food we could possibly eat, and we're talking like lobster, steak. I actually had a lobster sandwich, but it wasn't like a lobster roll. So think like coconut shrimp, but instead of shrimp,
it's lobster.
It's lobster.
Yeah. And it was like the size of a burger too.
Yeah,
like it was meaty and thick and had the coconut in there and
so good.
Yeah.
So and then we had like we started off and he brought us like all the appetizers, like multiple of appetizers. We had like so much food, and we had a drink fridge. If you have the drink package, depending on what drink package, like we had all of the water and sodas that we wanted to drink included with ours. And then our kids had the alcohol package, so the alcohol was included with their package.
Yeah, so they could order from the bar.
They had
or they had canned drinks from Michelob. I think they might have had some Truly and
White
Claw. If you're a White Claw girly or guy.
Canned wine.
Canned wine, which is just new to me.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not a wine drinker.
Yeah, but that was so we had those options, and then you have the lifeguards, and then but that was fun. It was
super fun. But we seriously didn't have to do anything all day; just kind of sit.
No, and then he brought dessert in the afternoon. It had towels out there. We brought our own snorkel gear.
Yeah,
but they did have some snorkel gear. Like 2 things of snorkel gear to use. There was a slide with the water on there, so you could slide in. No buckets to have for the water to slick up the slide.
Yeah.
There was a sandbar right by us,
probably about 15 feet from the cabana, maybe a little bit more. Was a sandbar that you could swim over to, and once you swam over to it, you could stand up, and the water came up to about my waist.
Yeah.
And you could walk around, but there was also in that area where I was walking around at least one shark, which is a small lemon shark. Keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
And then, or you try to chase them down and catch them.
He couldn't catch them.
Oh, yeah, they're
and it was whenever I was like realized where I was at, and I couldn't figure out. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of a snack. I was like, even if they were like, no, the lemon shark's gonna not want to be near you. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. she jumps in the water at one point in time, and underneath the cabanas, it's just like underneath any other bay, or it's dark under there. It's a safe space. So if you go underwater and look underneath there's just fish. All the fish are hiding. And Jodie, something touched her leg, and it was like a piece of seagrass. It was a piece of seagrass, and she was like, "I'm getting out of the water." I don't know if it was a fish or anything.
No, it was a piece of seagrass because I looked after. I'm like, what was that? It's a piece of seagrass. I'm like, but I was happy just putting my feet in, and I have I'll share the video. I was gonna say I shared the video of like me with my feet in, and you could see the fish swimming all underneath.
Oh yeah.
Them. The first foot shot is free. You're gonna have to pay for more.
Right. If you want more feet pics, you gotta pay for them.
But that was fun, and there was a stingray, and it was like, it was huge. And the thing is about the stingray, and like they were laughing, like Petty, our cabin attendant, was laughing at me. I'm like, one of those killed Steve Irwin. I'm not going near one. I'm not going near that.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah.
Giant starfish.
Giant starfish.
Only one, which is kind of interesting, you know. But it was like the big golden starfish, and it was huge.
Yeah, it was like I think about 12 inches. I think from sides at least. No, that's more than because it was like
about that big.
About that big. It was big, So, and they're like, oh yeah, you go down and pick it up and bring it up, but you have to put it back down. And we're like, we're not touching it.
Yeah.
Let it live its little happy little starfish life under there.
Right?
Yeah. So
they do stress a lot about so the people who run the ship stress a lot before you leave to respect the natural habitat.
Mm-hmm.
And some things like that, like a starfish, it's okay to briefly handle them and put them back in the water, because it's not going to kill them. Although I would err away from that. But they also said don't bring any shells back to the ship
or sand.
Basically, we were trying to leave as much as we can to just be natural.
Yeah. And I mean, if everybody starts taking sand and shells, I mean, your ecosystem requires those. And if you keep on taking them, then, I mean, the ecosystem breaks down.
Yeah.
So
one of my favorite parts about the cabana over the water and being in the what's the name of the location?
The beach club?
The beach club, yeah.
The Coco Beach Club, yeah.
Yeah, so in the Coco Beach Club, there are private restrooms. It's like 3, at least on our side, there were, you walk right off of our, the little pier that takes you to your over water cabin, 3 private restrooms.
Yeah.
It's to dry your hands was towels.
Clean towels.
Clean towels to dry your hands, no paper towels. It was pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
And it was very clean. Listen, Bucky's bathrooms have nothing on the cleanliness of these bathrooms.
Yeah, they were fantastically clean.
Yeah, and it's always something I worry about wherever I'm going somewhere. Like, where am I going to go pee?
Besides the ocean.
Besides the ocean, yeah. And God forbid I have to go poop.
I mean, true though.
Yeah, right?
I mean, it's one thing to pee in the ocean. I'm not pooping in the ocean.
But we walked over to the shops that they have on the island there. And on our walk over, we stopped at the ice cream cone place.
Yeah, so on ship here, they have their buffet. And the buffet, at a section of it, you can get like a
ice
soft
cream.
serve.
Yeah.
And they had the same, it was a buffet type of deal. And they had soft serve there too. Yeah. So we picked up.
It was hot. We just wanted some soft serve. And then I felt like everyone was like, hey, where'd you get that ice cream?
Yeah.
Hey, where'd you get that ice cream? It's right there.
Yeah.
There's one on either side.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. And it was nice to kind of, and so one of the things that I worried about was when we got the cabana, like this whole time, like most of our trip, we were like, we just want to like relax. And that was like our goal. But then I thought like, well, are we going to get bored being at the cabana all day long?
Did not. At all. Yeah, no boredom whatsoever. Even though, so you could jump in the water, hang out for a little bit, lay in the sun.
We had a Bluetooth music.
Oh, yeah. You could, I Bluetoothed my phone to the music or to their
sound system.
Their sound system. And we were rocking some Black Eyed Peas and
just a bunch of music.
All kinds of, dance and fun music. A couple of cabanas down, I saw like a big group, all of them dancing on their cabana doing the YMCA, which looked kind of fun. There was constantly lifeguards, and not like lifeguards that harass you or anything, but like walking out to our cabana, there's a lifeguard that we have to pass to get there. And then they have these pedestals that are out past the cabanas where there's lifeguards there with jet skis. And it's seriously like maybe a 5x5 stand that the lifeguards stand on, and they seem to just like rotate every once in a while. They're moving. I've never seen such a place where there's extreme focus, not extreme, but I felt comfortable and safe because of the number of lifeguards that were available. And I can only assume that it was the same way across the island for any of the beach areas.
No, I have to say that like when we were getting off the ship, like you walk up and the waves are just absolutely crashing on the rocks.
Oh yeah, they were huge.
So
waves.
I was kind of a little concerned about
the cabana side.
However, it's more in a they have the jetty. Is that what that is? I don't know. It was like very calm over there.
So basically, the north side of the island was catching all the waves, and there was huge rocks and stuff to kind of protect the island. Some were probably already there, and others were planted to protect areas. But then CocoCay, or CocoCay, however it's said, is one strip, and then there's another strip of island that goes around to the side, and then another strip of island. So basically, the inside of that is calm.
Yeah, it was really
nice.
Nice.
Perfectly calm. It was beautiful. And you could jump in and swim with the fishes.
Yeah, swim with fishes. But you know, one of the things, so like the temperature of the water. So we are sailing, it's mid-March.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm with a sweatshirt now, but that's because we're off the coast of North Carolina right now. One of the things that I was concerned about was the water temperature going to be warm enough?
It was.
And it was. So at first it was like kind of cold, but then I think that's like just any time you get in water, right? And then, but then after you submerge, it just like a moment that you adjust, and it's like, to me, it felt like lukewarm bath water.
Yeah. You know, yeah. So, I'm sorry, as you're talking about the lukewarm bath water and being in the water, we only got in. You got in once. I think I might have gotten in twice.
Yeah.
But didn't stay for long. And at one point, the sun was so beautiful that I had to move my seat back into the shade a little bit.
There were umbrellas. We did have umbrellas. We could have opened up.
Yeah.
But then I felt it was a little too. There was just like too much of a little bit of a breeze that would.
Yeah. It was risky.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to. Yeah. But our eldest daughter's significant other partner, our oldest daughter's partner, they swam with their little snorkel on, which seems like forever.
Yeah.
You know, every time you turn around, he's just face down and just like kicking little feet and constantly looking at what the fun stuff is underground. I imagine, like, you know, when you're a little kid, you got like the little wind up
like
frogman.
Yeah, frogman, yeah.
You put in the bathtub from like the 80s, maybe even the 70s, who knows. But that's what it was like.
He was constantly out there, and he's a redhead, and he has such fair, like I have fair skin. I think his skin's fairer than mine. And he was out there. We kept on slathering him up with sunscreen.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we all did.
It was such a blast, and we waited to the absolute last minute to leave. Absolute last minute. That boarding was
4:30.
4:30.
I think we got on board at 4:25.
Yeah, we finally made it on board at 4:25. The kids, who apparently are smarter than us, found a cart.
Well, I had to stop and go tinkle on my way out because I might have had a lot to drink.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah. You were a bit pickled.
I was.
So we started with I think it was some sort of rum punch, as far as I'm concerned. There's three different kinds of
Mama.
3 different kinds of rum.
And, that was my other one.
And
no,
like 2 kinds of juices.
Yeah.
And she drank half of it, and then it got cut with another alcoholic beverage out of a can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to make it go a little bit longer, because I couldn't imagine her ordering another one. Mm-hmm. And then, as we were about to leave, she has a drink in her hand, and we're about to leave. She goes, "Hold on," and she drinks that.
I didn't finish it.
And she sets it down on the counter.
Yeah.
But almost finishes it, just not completely. Grabs another one. It's like, okay, let's go. So.
And I'm a lightweight, so that was.
Oh my goodness, she was inebriated. It was, she's definitely pickled.
I definitely was.
Yeah. And but we made it back to the boat, and the kids, when they got like VIP service all the way up to the door with their cart.
Yes, we walked.
Yeah. But it's very pretty there. You know, like the whole island seemed curated.
The water was, I'm like looking at the water behind us, and it looks, I mean, you can kind of see it over my shoulder. It looks dark, and it looks dark looking down into it. But
no, it's crystal clear.
It's so clear and so light colored, and it's like it's 2 different waters, if you ask. It's 2 different water.
And this is the part of the video where I tell you to like, subscribe, and follow along. And don't forget to leave a comment below.